The Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, CHRICED, has called on the federal government to address the numerous concerns and grievances raised by the FCT Original Inhabitants. The executive director of the group, Dr. Ibrahim Zikirullahi, made this known in a joint statement alongside stakeholders at a press conference in Abuja to mark the United Nations International Day of World Indigenous People. Zikirullahi, who applauded the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, for nominating an indigenous person to be minister, urged the President to make him the minister of the FCT, as they believe he will offer the best leadership to his people. He also called for more representation of indigenous people at the National Assembly and other key positions to give them a sense of belonging.
Our coalition of stakeholders advocating for the promotion and protection of the rights of FCT Original Inhabitants has therefore deemed it necessary to use the opportunity presented by this international observance to celebrate the resilience of FCT Original Inhabitants while intensifying the advocacy to end the Nigerian state's violation of their rights. This coalition acknowledged the unprecedented nomination and successful screening of an FCT indigene, Honorable Zephaniah Gisalo, as Minister Designate. We thank President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for listening to the aspirations of original inhabitants, but we encourage him to go a step further and appoint Honorable Gisalo as FCT Minister to preside over the affairs of his people. This will reduce the feeling of alienation by the original inhabitants whose right to elect a governor and State House of Assembly has been denied over the years. The ministerial slot is just one out of the several issues which constitute the crux of the marginalization and exclusion of the indigenous peoples in the FCT. In the first place, there is the unresolved land question, which borders on the fairness and adequacy of compensation for the lands belonging to the FCT Original Inhabitants, which are being taken over by the government. There is also the unresolved question of elected state structure in the FCT to adequately accommodate the interests of the original inhabitants and residents. This is connected to the core principle of free, prior, and informed consent as enunciated in Article 10 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, which makes it explicit that indigenous peoples shall not be forcibly removed from their lands or territories. No relocation shall take place without the free, prior, and informed consent of the indigenous peoples concerned, and after agreement on just and fair compensation, and where possible, with the option of return. While other Nigerians have the right to vote and elect governors and members of the State House of Assembly, FCT Original Inhabitants are denied this same right. Added to this is the imbalance in the number of legislative seats provided for the indigenous peoples in the FCT. As it stands, FCT remains in the incongruous and unacceptable situation of having only one Senate seat and 2 House of Reps seats, while other states, even those with less population than the FCT, have 3 Senate seats and scores of House of Representative members. The indigenous peoples in the FCT need sincere and far-reaching constitutional and legal reforms, which would address the structural imbalances at the heart of their marginalization and the exclusion from critical governance structures.
We should not let loose or let off our guard simply by disappointment. It will be important to ensure a guarantee that from now on, that will be taken into account. It is our bounden duty to stand firm in support of this other demand, particularly those that require constitutional amendment. We need to leverage on the next round of constitutional amendments. We should not be tired. We should not be discouraged. We should, in fact, be rest assured that gradually or even quickly some of our demands in this regard would be met. The issue about land, some aspects of it are already being addressed, as highlighted. Cases are in court in this regard, and we should be hopeful that at the end of the day, justice will be done in this matter.